Hi, Jewel here. So we're being watched. We have cameras everywhere. Um, we have them listening on our phone. We have, it's like, oh, and then are you going to be naughty or nice? Are you going to get in trouble? All these things are not new, though. We've always had this going on because we've always had society telling us, oh, are you naughty or nice, right? And so, if you look at these guys behind me, those guys represent what's going on now and what always has. So there isn't any difference in terms of what happens, just what we call it. And that's why I get into the word thing. It's like, what are we going to name this thing again? Because there's 10 of them in the tree of life. And they have a palpable meaning. They have an experience that we all understand because we go through it, and we have for many lives. So here we talk about surveillance, and surveillance is granny. It's the old lady, and they gave that to the guys. And so now women and feminism, we're trying to act like men because we gave up our feminine old lady archetype and said it was men who do that. It said that it's men who's strict and severe and conservative and in charge and controlling. Those are all feminine qualities. The goddess is a bitch, and the old lady is a frustrated bitch because guess what? I'm dry now, and I used to be just like a fucking river. You get me within 3 feet of a dude, and I was just like, oh, come and slide it in this hole because I was juicy, and now I'm not. So when you get old and you're an old lady, what's left? You've got to get over your sex appeal, and you've got to get in to your old, critical, smart lady. You have to realize, if you're an old woman, that being strict and conservative is helpful. It's important for me to tell young women my story of when I was young and juicy and what it did for me and what it didn't do for me. And I'm watching. I'm surveilling. Now, when I see these magazines with ARP, the old people's magazine, and they're all being all sexy and everything, it's like, I think that's such nonsense. For one thing, when you're older, you just don't give a shit about sex that much. Now, men maybe, some, but a lot of them can't get it up anymore. And if they can, it's kind of sad. I don't know, because I haven't done it in a long time. I gave it up. And guess what? It helped me. It really helped me because when I gave up sex, I got to know myself. Because in this world, in this feminism world, we were taught to run around like horny men, like horny young men, instead of act like the gracious, accepting women that we can be. And I talk about this a lot because I think that in Modernia, we have mistaken what is feminine and what is masculine. Masculinity is joy, mercy, and forgiveness. Femininity is restriction, control, and judgment. The power of femininity is to say no. And what was lost in my youth was that we were told to say yes, yes, yes. Just jump right into the party. Yes to booze, yes to drugs, yes to playing, yes to sex with whoever said they wanted to have sex. That's not feminine. Not at all. Now, the fact that women are in charge more and more women have degrees, more women are CEOs, we're climbing up. But guess what's happening? Have you noticed how things are getting more fascist? Once, as women are being put in positions of control and power, what happens? Control, judgment, security is a big one. Women, the feminine needs security, right? And so what does she do? She just looks around going, oh, we got to make this safe. Nobody can die. Oh, we got to, it's like, ladies will control you and try to change you. That's what we do. And the advice to young women is, oh, just know that you can't change a man. Well, you can't. And why is that? That's a good thing. Because a man is a joyful thing. I love men. And now I'm an old woman, and the men that I'm attracted to are the ages of my sons. They're in their 50s. These 50-year-old men, they are so smart and fun and interesting. In the past, for some reason, and we could talk about this, women allowed themselves to be in the second place. And then we got the religion with the one God, and he is he, and they say, oh, God has no gender, but he is, and that always makes me laugh. No gender, but he. And the women pray to this God, this man in the sky, and ask this nobody to forgive them. Religion makes us weak. This stuff makes us strong, and I'll tell you why. Because once you incorporate these critters, these mythical critters, you begin to understand who you really are. And who are you? You are as God. It's not blasphemy to say that. It is actually blasphemy to say you're not. Now, there comes responsibility, and that's femininity. The moral center is the combination of the two, and that's what we talk about, the fifth chakra, speaking the truth. There's a masculine and a feminine aspect to the truth. There is innovation and there's tradition. Now, one more thing before I just don't completely bore you. There's a story Joseph Campbell tells. It's a tribe in New Guinea, maybe. Don't quote me on it, but one of those islands with very primitive people. And they have a ceremony when the young people reach puberty. And they pick out a girl, and this is her first sex, and they pick out several boys, and they build a hut with logs, and it's a whole big process. They put the young couple in there and they fuck. And then they take that boy away, maybe they give her a rest, I don't know. And they bring another boy in, and he fucks her. Until the last boy comes in, and when he's orgasming, they pull the posts out and crush the young couple. Tradition! It represents this Platonic idea that birth and death are the beginning. I like that. I made it up. Don't steal it. The beginning. It's where we begin and end in sex. There we go. Where we begin and end is in a sexual universe. And that they knew. So do you like that tradition? Let's kill these young people in a brutal way. Because you know what they say, orgasm is the little death. And so they give it both, the little death and the big death. Now on this chart, that's the big bang. And this little pink area here, that's the little death. That's sex as we experience it. And then you go up the ladder, and this is the atomic bomb. This is the blow up, the big bang, the first big bang, but it's not first. There's stacks of these, one on top of the other. Because what? You're eternal. You're an eternal being. Everything passes, everything changes. But do what you think you should do. Because someday, maybe, who knows, baby, I'll come and be crying to you. That's called To Ramona from Bob Dylan. Boy, that man channeled for several years. Okay, 10 minutes, 28 seconds. Not bad. JewelStarsinger.com, Jewel with 2 L's. Get a reading. Let's get into your essence. This is where you get your power. You know, they always said, get your power. And I was like, where do I get it? Is it at a store? I want some. Well, it's here. And then it's here. And discussing it, owning it. And sometimes it's just frickin' ugly. And you have to say it's ugly. And I still want it. This is hard. It's not easy being a God. So be a good God. Be a decent God. Make a good choice. Make a choice that little inside voice says, do that. Because there's always that word inside. There's that word inside saying, do that. Okay, love you. JewelStarsinger.com. Like it. Please like it. It's helpful, and I'm just, starting out. I need you. I need you. All right, bye.